All right, I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people to get in while I set up. How y'all doing for anyone who does decide to show up? Make sure y'all hit that like button when you come on in. If you figure the silence is too long, just make sure to skip over a few seconds so you can get to actual commentary. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff to bring up today. So I know it's taking me a while. I just got home. But I just wanted to make sure that this becomes a good live stream. Okay, Sid, I'm gonna wait till some people. Interesting. Okay. I'm just looking at some clips real quick before we get started. I'm going to see whoever's coming in later on in a few minutes. See, there was a clip that I'm trying to find right now, but I'll show it later. If I can find it. Let me see if anyone has showed up so far. All right, we got 2 people watching. We got 4 likes. So we got a lot of stuff talking about today. We got this thing about, the reparations thing that's been talked about. I also want to know what about. Also want to talk about things that happened during the infamous, basically hearing of Michael Cohen. It may not be mostly focused on him, but there was this individual, this black woman that people have been talking about. Also, it looks like Kamala Harris is getting some backlash. Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard Kamala Harris got some backlash, and we're gonna bring that up. All right, we're about to get started in a few seconds. Just as soon as I get our first topic ready. All right. So I guess we'll start with this first topic. First, I want to see if anyone's in the chat room. All right, we got 4 people. All right, so hit 1 if you can see my screen. Some of you might just be watching and stuff. All right, so basically, this first topic happens to deal with what's happening in Minnesota. All right, Mira Powell, how you doing? All right, so we're gonna get started with this first topic. This is happening in Minnesota. So, let me do a little sharing. All right. So, a Minnesota lawmaker is asking, what are Minnesota lawmakers doing to protect kids being pulled out of homes placed in foster care? So this is all right. So lawmakers in Minnesota have relaunched efforts to keep Black families together and intact by eliminating out home placements of African American children in the state's foster care system. On Monday, Rep. Reno Mora, Democratic Farmer Labor Party, St. Paul, and Senator Jeffrey Hander, DFL Minnesota, reintroduced legislation that would ensure families involved in child protection cases are together as much as possible. Minnesota Public Radio reported the so-called Minnesota African American Family Preservation Act also claims to establish a greater oversight when Black children are placed in foster care with lawmakers are urging agencies to place these kids and relatives, not strangers. Relatives, not strangers. And this is Jeff Hayden. This is one of the people who has brought up the legislation. The disparities in Minnesota's child protection systems are alarming, says Claire Wilson, Deputy Commissioner of Minnesota's Department of Human Services. African American children are more than 3 times as likely to experience out-of-home placement than white children, and that is actually 100% true. Data from the department also shows Black parents are more likely to lose custody of their children than their white, Asian, and Hispanic counterparts. Now, lawmakers and others are actively working to address the disparities. Um, all right. Mora and Hayden, who are both sponsoring the bill, introduced the same legislations last year, but it never made it to the floor for a vote. In just the last 10 years, Minnesota has seen its foster care numbers nearly double, and the number of children in need of protections or services case involving Black families has jumped by more than 50% between 2013 and 2007, according to state juvenile courts data. Mirroring the language of the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978. The AAFPA seeks to curtail the community destroying practice of removing African American children from their homes only to place them with non-Black families. Hayden argues there are far too many examples of Black children raised in white households who end up losing their cultural identity. They grew up in a process in which they didn't know who they were, he said, and subsequently. That is 100% true. He is right about that. They have a lot of trouble dealing with society because they have no grounding. The bill is expected to get a hearing sometime this month, Morin said. She said she's hopeful that Republicans will throw their support behind the proposal once they see the data and hear the stories of Black parents who've had their families ripped apart. I seriously doubt it. We're talking about Republicans here. Often the narrative is the Republicans complain that government needs to get out the people's lives so that they can do what they need to do, she said. In an instant, that is our narrative. So, yeah. And that is true. Black kids are most likely to end up in foster care than any other any other child, and they end up being more displaced than their white, Asian, and Hispanic and other counterparts. And Black parents are most likely to lose their child custody rights than any other group of parents from another race or ethnicity. And eventually that's going to have to change because we know how this system is run. Half a majority of the system plans, what they're trying to do is that the Child Service Agency is now being accused of destroying the Black family, and that is correct. They're trying to separate and destroy the Black family structure. and they use things like the child service agency to do it. But now people are fighting back against it. And there are even some politicians who now says that something needs to be fixed about that. All right, so before I continue, I'm going to do some things before we begin. But first, I'm going to click off my screen. But yeah, I hope those senators and those whoever and those state legislators are able to get the job done. All right, I am Luther. Hey, how's it going? Hmm. I think the next thing I might do later is I might try to see if anyone wants to get on the panel. So, yeah, if anyone wants to get on the panel, I'll send you the link. Yeah, some stuff, I have to do because, like I said, some stuff I'm doing last minute because um, I just got home for work, so I didn't really do a lot of prep. Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, Jimmy? Say, if you want to come on into the panel when you finally get home. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Well, like I said, whenever you get the chance, Jimmy, when you get home, if you want to join in the panel, if I'm still here, then there's the link right there. Plus, I can also email it to you if you are able to get there after you get to your house. So, if there's anyone out there that wants to try to get on now, okay. Well, if he was asking me that, I'm doing okay. Let's see. What do I want to bring up next? Okay. I know what I want to bring up next. All right. So there's been a couple of stories involving the Confederate flag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find them first. I just forgot where I got them, but yeah, talking about. You know what? Yeah. Hold on. Let's see, there was a story I'm trying to find that talks about the Confederate flag. Oh, okay. You know what? This one talked about the Confederate flag, so I'm gonna bring it up. All right, let me say more. Hello to more people. Hey, Daniel, Phil, how's it going? Make sure you also share this video, so in case if there's anyone out there that wants to come along, I'll probably try to share the video as well. All right. Before I continue, I'm going to do something real quick to see if I can get more people over. So I'm just going to try to invite some more people. This won't take long. So, and then we'll get started with our next topic. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to most likely pick people I'm most likely going to try to be able to get. God dang it. Sorry about that for the delay. Right. So I'm going to do this real quick. And send off. All right, now I'm going to bring up that story about the Confederate flag. So, yeah, this. So I'm about to bring up this video. Make sure you, hold on. I want to make sure that my screen is being shown. All right, so if you all see my screen, I'm about to play this video real quick about what happened. Hold on. All right, here we go. Wait, let me start all over.
The group that they were protesting was a pro-Confederate group. This past weekend, a couple of incidents dealing with race took place. One was a pro-Confederate rally to, as one spokesperson for the rally said, represent our ancestors and to preserve Confederate monuments. The other took place during the Ole Miss versus Georgia basketball game when, in response to this pro-Confederate gathering on their campus, several players decided to kneel during the national anthem. Now let's look at some of the responses that circulated in response to these actions, and we'll see whether people attacked the pro-slavery, the pro-Confederate supporters or the peaceful kneelers. Ready? Let's go. Behind comment number one, we have, I hope they get this figured out and school won't allow this. Was this tweet about white supremacists or those peacefully protesting the acceptance of white supremacy on their campus? The answer is, of course, the peaceful kneelers, as you can see from the rest of this person's tweet when he said, I hope the school won't allow this or teams to start this. No need for politics in college sports. And there you have it, the old recycled argument. Okay, next up. Please specify this is Ole Miss. The rest of Mississippi universities have respect. Interesting comment. Okay, now, was this aimed at the Confederate supporters who think in 2019 it's acceptable to wave a flag that represented the celebration of bondage and the bloodshed to uphold it, or was it aimed at those players whose ancestors suffered under slavery and sought to say this is unacceptable to happen in 2019, especially on their campus? And of course, it's aimed at the peaceful kneelers once again. With the follow-up of this tweet reading, an absolute disgrace. I never liked Ole Miss, but I respected their basketball coach. No more. I would kick them off the team. I would have them escorted out of the gym prior to the game. Okay, so this person wants players removed from the campus, but is seemingly fine and dandy with some white nationalists setting camp outside the door. Should we do one more? Yeah, I think we should. Maybe we'll find someone who gets it. Nick, no need for empty gestures now. You knew who Ole Miss was, so...
Did you see all that? I want to know what y'all think in the comment section. Hubby Money, how you doing? We're doing just random topics. I just talked about how some legislators were trying to make policies to help keep black families intact when it comes to the Child Protection Service agency that's been known to separate black families and stuff like that, and how these lawmakers are trying to stop that. And now we're talking about how a couple of basketball players were kneeling in protest against a Confederate rally that happened near their school. But yet you had them ignorant racists attacking the athletes, but not the Confederates. And that's what I'm showing this video about. I think there was something else. I'm still trying to find it, but I think there was something else that I kind of wanted to show if I can find it. Let me see. I'm trying. It might be in the. Oh, right, here it is. Now this time, this happened in Virginia, Virginia high schools. You had white students tell it to suck it up. You got these Confederate flags, the Tea Party flag, the "Don't Tread on Me," whatever. See, this is what's going on in this country. But yet, instead of condemning these people, they were condemn high school athletes who do peaceful, non-racial protests to fight against racism and against these flag bearers of the Confederate flag. So, yeah. But then again, this is America. All right, I want to see what y'all said. This is why we need our own schools and, to be honest, our own language as well, okay? Mr. More Power says, not surprised at all. Any of our people do is seen as a threat. Meanwhile, they can be out having a racist rally at the same time and no one bats an eye. Yep, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. So I'm going to click off my screen real quick. So, yeah. But, like I said, that's America. All right. Here's what Hubby Money said. We need to have a legal team prepared to tell these cases. All right. Like I said, if anyone wants to come on in, here's the link right here. If anyone wants to come on in. All right. LOL, I'm a woman. Okay. More power. And more power to you. All right. Now let's see. I know we're getting these topics so fast. Let's see what the next topic is. Y'all heard about that Democratic donor Ed Buck? The one that's had two dead bodies of black. Hold on, I thought I heard something. Let me check it out real quick. Okay. All right. That was this Google Hangout. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, but okay. I meant to say Mo Power. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Mo Power. All right, now back to what I was saying. I was the Ed Buck situation. This next topic is an update to the Ed Buck situation. That's the same guy who had two dead gay black males' bodies, but yet he's under arrest. And then there was a video of him still out where he was with another black dude, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, this guy is not in jail yet, but yet they wanted to arrest R. Kelly and Jesse Smollett. But this Ed Buck guy is not in jail yet. Which brings on to our next topic. I was chewing on something. So, a mother that claims that her son overdosed after Ed Buck gave him drugs is now suing Ed Buck. And rightfully so. So I'm going to read this article. The mother of a gay black man who died in the West Hollywood home of Ed Buck has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the longtime Democratic donor, alleging he was a drug dealer who injected her son with a fatal dose of crystal methamphetamines, or, crystal meth. Now remember, there was also a report that there was a third man, but he survived his ordeal with Ed Buck. And he said that he too was drugged with crystal meth, but he managed to survive his ordeal. He was the third man that was identified. The lawsuit filed Tuesday by Letitia Nixon, whose 26-year-old son, Jamel Moore, died in Buck's apartment, also accused Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey and Deputy District Attorney Crit Hem of failing to prosecute Buck, 64, because he was white. And she has every right to say this because he's still out on the loose and not been arrested or put on trial. And he had dead bodies on his property. Dead bodies. White privilege for you. Lacey and Hum's unconstitutional failure to act is reprehensible, and their misapplications of criminal justice is constantly failed the black community, rightfully so. Hassan Turk, an attorney for Nixon, said in a statement, "If the dead body of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man was found in the home of an older black man, he'd be lucky to even make it to the police station alive," Turk said, and rightfully so. See, yeah, if a white person was found at that house and the Ed Buck was a black male, yeah, if Ed Buck was black, he would have been shot dead by police officers for having dead white bodies at the house. Buck's attorney, Seymour Amster, said in an email that he and his client catastrophically denied each and every allegation and look forward to legitimate this matter in court. Amston previously told the judge that critics had unfairly used race to blame Buck. What do you mean unfairly? Blame race. He's a white man out in prison and he has black people dead in his house and he's not in jail yet. That seems very that why you think they're bringing race into it. Blame Buck for the death, saying some people who all of a sudden have media attention are trying to divide the races. Trying to divide the races? We're in a race war right now. There's already division within the race of people. There's already division. No, you just saying that because you don't want a white person getting punished. Moore died of a methamphetamine overdose in Buck's Loring Avenue apartment in July 2017. Another gay black male, 55-year-old Timothy Dean, died in Buck's home in January. That was a couple months ago. Buck was present for both deaths, attorneys said. So why is he not in jail? And why is Ed Buck not in jail for drugs? But yet you arrest black people and send them to prison for 20, 30 years over a little dab of marijuana. Dean's cause of death has not been released, and law enforcement officials have put a security hold on Dean's autopsy. Amster said he died of apparent overdose after ingesting a substance at another location, but his body was found at Ed Buck's house. While the deaths have prompted homicide investigations by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Buck has not been arrested in either cases. Prosecutors last summer declined to file charges in Moore's death, citing insignificant admissible evidence. In the lawsuit, Nixon said that Buck preyed on black men and that he had solicited her son for sex numerous times. During the encounters, she alleged Buck insisted on injecting Moore with crystal amphetamine, then forced him to watch pornography and perform sex acts while intoxicated. Multiple black men reported similar drug-fueled encounters with Buck, Nixon alleged. So yes, that's what I mentioned earlier about the third black man that they were talking about that's revealed that they were injected with crystal meth. And these were gay black men, but you don't see the LGBT community come out for them. You don't see Me Too or Time's Up coming out for them. You don't see these gay activist groups. Now, there's some black activist groups that are willing to come out because this is a race matter, but you don't see these LGBT activists. But these were the same people that wanted to go after Kevin Hart. But Kevin Hart didn't kill anybody or get people in a situation that they can be killed. Ed Buck did that. But they're not going after him because he's white and because he's a powerful donor for the Democratic Party. Yeah, I just mentioned, the party that he donates money to is the Democrat Party, the so-called, I thought that they were supposed to be the so-called friends of black people and LGBT people and stuff like that. Turns out that's not true. And they be trying to get black votes for people like Kamala Harris and stuff like that. Yeah, That's what I mentioned, Hubby Mubby, the dude who died. I just said the black guy that survived talked about it. I mentioned that early, but yeah, Hubby Money. But yep. And first of all, I'm glad that she's taking legal action. She's not going to just sit there and just let everything die down and Ed Buck ends up still walking and stuff like that. So I'm just happy that she is taking matters, trying to get a lawsuit in so he can at least hurt him financially until the law decides to jail him. But I'm glad that she at least trying to hurt him financially because he deserves to be hurt any kinds of matter. Some kind of pain needs to be inflicted financially, mentally, physically on Mr. Ed Buck. You're going to have dead bodies and not face no consequences. You're not even going to deal with the fact that you have dead bodies in the home near your property. I'm going to continue reading this article. Each of these young black men, many who were strangers to one another, independently described being forcibly injecting with crystal amphetamine by Buck. So basically, Buck was some kind of serial rapist of black men and a serial killer. Once again, where's the Me Too movement? Where's Time's Up? So if these men were being raped because they're being drugged with crystal amphetamine, isn't that considered something that the Me Too movement would have been talking about? But oh, I forgot. The victims are black males, and their job is to go after black males and make black males the perpetrators. Oh, I can see that now. I see what's going on here, but let's continue. Who they allege had a predatory and injurious system of soliciting black men and watching them cling to life while battling system of methamphetamine toxicity, the lawsuit says. And this Ed Buck is crazy. He's basically, you know who this case reminds me of? Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, does anyone remember the stories of Jeffrey Dahmer? Oh, hey, Mister, what's up? Y'all remember Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer who went after gay black males? He went after gay black males too. Tried to sex them up, and then he kills them, have sex with their dead bodies, even was known to be a cannibal. Yes, that's exactly right, Hubby Money. This is why the gay black male needs to understand that they are black first, gay second. Yes. And there's a lot of gay LGBT who are black, not all of them, just the few of the sector of the black and community or sector of the LGBT community that happen to be black people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, or pansexual, decided to join their white counterparts and throwing the black community under the bus because they were afraid of going after the real people that hated them, and that was racist whites and homophobic whites. They are the ones who are making laws to hurt that community, but they went after black people who were probably the only community that was trying to take care of them when they're being excommunicated because black people understand what it felt to be the victims of discrimination more than any other race or ethnicity or whatever people. But then black gays didn't realize that there were white gays and Asian gays who were just as racist as their straight counterparts. So after they finally were getting all these rights and stuff, some of these white gays ended up throwing the black gays under the bus, and then some of the black gays who threw the black community under the bus try to get back into the good graces with the Black Lives Matter thing, but then we saw through it. That's why a lot of people don't chant Black Lives Matter and stuff. And we just wanted to show the black gays, or the black LGBT, that at the end of the day, you're black first. And yes, they know that when the black man is the victim, they do not care about them, especially if they're straight. But they have also shown that they do not care about them if they're gay. They only use the black gay like Billy Porter to humiliate the black male, to emasculate the black male. But when the black gay male needs help dealing with racism, or all of a sudden the gay community distance themselves away from that person. Look what's happening with Jussie Smollett. He thought that because he too was gay, but them cops at Chicago and some of the people showed them, you black first. We're not helping you because you black. So yeah, you saw what happened with Jussie Smollett, and now the same thing is happening to these black gays who are the victims of Ed Buck. They're the racist community is on code siding with Ed Buck. They are going for Ed. They're defending Ed Buck because he's, like I said, he's a white male. At the end of the day, Ed Buck's a white male. He can blow up the entire universe. They're gonna stay on code and protect Ed Buck and throw any black person, regardless of if you're man or woman, how much money you make, what political party you go to, what sexuality you identify with. You're black first. And that's why the black community needs to start coming together regardless to fight against racism against the black community. Once again, like I said, I hope this woman wins her lawsuit, and hopefully one day that her son will get the justice he deserves. And I hope what's happening with those men is waking up some of the black gay community black members of the gay community, that the LGBT blacks are going to start thinking about who they side with the next time they get in trouble in a situation. Some of them might finally get it. There are a few who may finally get it, but then you'll still have a bunch of them who are just going to still remaining lost. They won't be saved. But anyway, now let's go on to our next topic. Oh, yes. I figured we could bring this person up. But first, I want to bring back the situation involving this man. If you want to remember who this man is the lieutenant governor, the current lieutenant governor of Virginia, by the name of Justin Fairfax. Now, in Virginia, you have three stories that is happening. Ralph Northam got in trouble because he had a yearbook page with someone wearing blackface, and then he tried to deny it and not apologize. So they decided to go shift the blame, try to go after Justin Fairfax because he was the black dude, and decided to go look into his past. And it turned out that there was a couple women that they claim he sexually harassed. But Justin Fairfax denied it. Justin Fairfax is a family man. He has a wife and kids, so I don't think he had any real reason to go mess with other women if he was very extremely faithful to his wife and his family. In fact, he's even pushed back against calls to resign by comparing himself to lynching victims. You want to know who recently did that? That was in a case involving sexual misconduct? Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby and his legal team and his family had compared what was happening to Bill Cosby to what happened to Emmett Till, the boy who was killed because he was accused of whistling at Carolyn Bryant, who's unfortunately still breathing. You know how when black men were being accused of messing with white women or just for no reason at all, they would get a rally, a group of racist white people, and then they will do lynchings. And that's exactly what they're doing, only they don't just have the rope. They're just using the legal system against any black person, especially if they are and have some form of power like a political seat of office like a lieutenant governor, or if they happen to be rich with money, they have to go after them to destroy the image of black people. And Justin Fairfax there is no proof that Justin Fairfax did any wrongdoing. So that's why he's comparing himself to lynching. His career is being lynched by the justice system, but they have no evidence against him. Let's not forget the Republican run House of Delegates immediately want to call for an impeachment, but there has been no evidence of any wrongdoing from Justin Fairfax. It's just he said, she said. Because what if the she said if she's lying, or the two women are lying? Then they would look stupid forever trying to get him to resign, and racist. And they're using the Justice Fairfax situation to ignore the fact that the Maine governor, Ralph Northam, has been accused of having a picture with blackface, and that Ralph Northam did confess that he at one time wore blackface to basically do an impersonation of the singer Michael Jackson. And remember, they're trying to throw his name under the bus too recently. But that's another story. Then you also heard about the Attorney General of Virginia, Mark Henry. He wore blackface and he was trying to impersonate Curtis Blow, a very known legendary rapper. But yet they want to bring all the attention to Justin Fairfax. But it looks like someone managed to bring the attention back to Northam, only this time, not because of what he did, but because of what this woman did, the wife of Northam. So basically, Pam Northam decided to bring a bunch of students to go on a trip. A group of students went on a trip to take them a tour of the executive mansion, and they showed were African American slaves for picking cotton. And they decided to say, I want you to hold this cotton and see what it looks like to being enslaved. And you want to know who Pam's wife, what Pam Northam, the wife of Ralph Northam, gave the cotton to? She gave them the cotton to the only 3 black kids that were there. Yeah. So yes. There were only 3 black children. I'm just reading your comments. That's why I'm stopped talking. I'm just reading your comments. So yes, you had this woman, this Pam Northam, decide to give the cotton to 3 children, and now I heard that one of the parents is trying to is going after the Northam family for what they did when it came to that cotton. And then you're going to go turn around and say that's not racist and stuff. So you now got the wife caught in the act of racism. I mean, what they're going to try to do? Are they going to try to deflect and go after Justin Fairfax's wife? Don't be surprised if they decide to go after Justin Fairfax's wife just because they went after Ralph Northam's wife. Do not be surprised. But that's exactly what's about to happen. You're just gonna go and do some. Your family's already in trouble for some racist stuff that the husband is doing, but now you're going to do this. You already got this thing with the blackface, and you're already doing something that's racially tensions. That you got these people have to be the dumbest, most ignorant, and most bold people ever. Really, the Northams, the Northams need to just get out of power immediately and get their butts out of Virginia. But then again, Virginia is known to be a racist state and known to be the capital of the Confederacy. So I'm not surprised either how the white folks of Virginia act. The fact that yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to say for now. So now here's another person who has controversy. Miss Kamala Harris. I wonder what she said now. Let's see what we take a look.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized
What up, Joe Johnson?
And now we have segregation and discrimination.
Hold on, let me start all over real quick.
And is a barrier to progress. We have disparities. It's not legal, but still exist. Do you?
All right, first song before I continue, I want to say what's up, Joe Johnson, in the chat room. All right. Now I'm going to go back and play this video again.
You support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you use for.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country. Right?
You see that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Jimmy, what's up?
Live and directed, full effect, man. What's popping and what's dropping, brother?
Hey, what's up? So, yeah. So this shows you right there that she is not going to do anything for Black people. But yet some of these politicians will try to make policies just for only immigrants who are illegal, just for gay people, just for white women, but not for just Black people. Like reparations and stuff like that, because there's been a lot of talk about reparations. And now I'm looking at this article. The reason why I brought that video up is because she's now getting backlash over those reparation comments.
As she should.
So.
As she should.
All right. So you have anything to say about this?
She should. She should get every minute of the backlash, the backhand, everything that's negative should come towards her, because she sat up here and destroyed Black families by locking people up, and it got so bad. This woman was so much of a mixed coon that even the California Supreme Court had to step in and tell her she was violating people's civil rights. They put an injunction against her.
Were they all white judges?
From my understanding, most of those California Supreme Courts that put in the injunction, I think they were white. You know, it might be a couple of so-called minorities here and there, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure that most of them,
they thought that she was crazy and being disparaging against Black families.
Yeah, they put in an injunction against her. They was like, no, you can't do this. This is a constitutional violation. That's bad. When non-Black people be like, the shit you doing is fucked up. So you know what I'm saying? Kamala Harris don't stand a damn chance whatsoever, because she's just another KKK member in blackface. That's all she is. She's the real Black Klansman, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Ron Stallworth ain't got shit on her. Shit.
Yes, that's exactly right. And let's not forget the lack of justice for one Oscar Grant, the man who was shot while in handcuffs at a substation by a racist police officer. He did get convicted, but he was able to get out of prison after only serving there for a few months because of a deal by Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we got to put and here's the thing about the reparations conversation. We got to put the United States in a position to where they either going to have to shit or get off the pot. We got to get to where we have more than enough black people not voting in this election. If they're not going to bring nothing stable to the table, let them sell that fable to somebody else, because we don't got time for the BS anymore. We're going to continue to get dog whistling Donna over here calling the police on somebody because their dog is smashing their dog. We need some payment for that. We need reparations. Sure. We need land. We need everything out there. We need to put them in a position to where they're gonna shit or get the fuck off the pot. Because I'm getting sick of these politicians like Bernie Sanders trying to play dumb about, well, I don't know what you're talking about when you talk about reparations and stuff like that. And fuck Bernie Sanders. We need to get him in a position to where we run his ass out on the rail too. We don't need.
By the way, I want to show you something. I want to show you a video real quick concerning Mr. Bernie Sanders. So I'm going to click off my screen real quick. Actually, I think it was a couple of videos, but I want to click off my screen real quick so I don't show other stuff and, think cause some confusion until I'm fully set. So,
yeah, no problem. Do your thing, brother. Do your thing, brother.
All right, now here's one video I want to show real quick. This is from a tweet from Tim Black that talks about some clips from a town hall that happened that he was struggling with a lot of the questions, and rightfully so. Oops, sorry about that. So,
Washington. Thank you, Senator Sanders. Part of the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow in the U.S. is the legacy of income inequality in the U.S. What is your position in reparations to the descendants of slaves?
Well, as I just indicated, there are massive disparities that must be addressed. There is legislation that I like, introduced by Congressman Jim Clyburn. It's called the 10-20-30 legislation, which focuses federal resources in a very significant way on distressed communities that have high levels of poverty. So as I just indicated, I think we have to do everything that we can to end institution.
She just asked about descendants of slavery, of slaves, not people in poverty.
Institutional racism in this country. It is not acceptable to me that the rate of childhood poverty among the African American community is over 30% in this country. That is beyond belief. That African Americans die from cancer at higher rates than whites. So we're going to do everything we can to put resources in.
So how does this have to do with reparations?
Absolutely nothing. It's absolutely nothing to do with reparations.
Improve lives for those people who have been hurt from the legacy of slavery.
So what is your position specifically on reparations? I asked the question because Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro, they indicated they want
What does that mean? What do they mean? I'm not sure that anyone's very clear. What I've just said.
What do you mean you're freaking not sure?
We must do everything that we can to address the massive level of disparity that exists in this country.
I'll tell you what they mean, because Elizabeth Warren has said black families have had a much steeper hill to climb. We need systematic structural changes to address that. Julian Castro has said, I have long thought that this country would be better off if we did find a way to...
And then he's going to interrupt Wolf Blitzen. He's going to interrupt Wolf Blitzen. All he's trying to do is explain the situation with black people and reparations. And you're going to just try to interrupt him. That's really stupid. And really, you're supposed to be this noble progressive. You're not showing me it right now. You're supposed to have been in the civil rights movement and stuff. You're not showing it right here, Mr. Sanders.
Oh yeah,
you're acting more like Colonel Sanders than Bernie Sanders, or maybe Colonel Sanders is the real Bernie Sanders.
To do
exactly.
Reparations.
Exactly.
I agree with what Elizabeth said.
So you would support reparations?
But read what she said. What does that mean? She means, I think, I don't want to put words into her mouth, is what I said. Okay? In other words, as a result of the legacy of slavery, you have massive levels of inequality. It has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed now.
In 2016, you said it would be divisive reparations.
Well, again, it depends on what the word means. And
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that video. I wonder if I could find that video. Is anyone able to give me a link to that video in the chat room? Because I remember that video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's something else I wanted to show you.
Oh, handle your business. Handle your business. Do your thing.
All right, I'm gonna show something else real quick. But first, I gotta find it. All right, here it is. But first, I'm gonna click my screen. I share my screen once again. But there was a video in the past where he was full blatantly didn't want to show reparations. But now I'm going to show you this video, ladies and gentlemen. Be prepared.
We really want to talk about what are you going to do about reparations. You can get a photo. You go. Yeah, go. I got it. Oh no.
You see, he didn't even answer not one question, and he just all of a sudden walks away.
We don't need to take him serious. We need to make these guys. We need to put these guys in a position again to where these guys gonna have to shit or get off the pot. And this goes for Republicans, Independents, whatever party they're in, because they're white supremacy under the same bella, Democratic, Republicans, whatever. So we need to put their asses in a position to where they either gonna shit or they're gonna get the hell off the pot, because we deserve these reparations. We deserve land allocations and stuff like that. If we don't get gentrified out our houses in these major cities out here, we need land allocations. We need to get. I mean, be honest with you, I think black people need to live among black people again. We need to get back to where we're resegregated again, because us living among white people, that hasn't worked for us. I mean, that has not worked. So we need to get back together and start living among each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's getting to a point where it's like, I mean, you have politicians like Ralph Northam's, whose wife is handing black kids cotton and then telling them to imagine being slaves. I'm like, seriously. Your husband has already went through the blackface situation, and then you're going to try to all of a sudden just hand cotton you. That shows you right there. You just don't care,
man. Let me tell you something. If I was one of those,
and now I want to show you another thing. I want. Go ahead. You know what? Tell me what you're about to say first.
If I was one of them damn parents and they handed my child cotton, I would have slapped the shit out of that goddamn motherfucker. I'm just gonna be honest with you. We need to stop letting people disrespect our fucking kids like that. We got to get to where we start protecting these kids from that type of blatant disrespect. Sometimes a motherfucker do need to go to jail for some shit. And that's one of them things to where you don't let your kid experience no blatant disrespect like that. I mean, sometimes, the best way to fight the law is to...
You're breaking up real quick. Something's going on with the signal.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying.
I know who's messing with the signal, but yeah, go continue.
Yeah, sometimes the best way to fight the law is to break the law. We need to stop letting people disrespect our kids like that. I mean, if that was me, I probably would have slapped the shit out that lady for blatantly disrespecting kids like that. That's fucked up right there. We gotta protect our children better than that too, man. We know people should know that these people have a history of racism, and we continue to let racist motherfuckers to persuade us. We got to get off that shit and protect our kids a little bit better than that. And them parents who let their kids come to the governor's mansion, they deserve a coon train award. So that's all I want to say about that, man.
Yeah, because we already had the Ralph Northam situation, and now we have to deal with the wife. Now, I want to show you this idiot by the name of Candace Owens, or should I say Candace Oas, or Kundis Owens. She said the most dumbest thing ever. And this is after she got, basically an organization she was part of just threw her under the bus. Now she's trying to get back to the good graces of her white master as much as possible. And this is what she did.
First and foremost, stop selling us our own oppression. Stop taking away our self-confidence by telling us that we can't because of racism.
All right, I'm going to stop it real quick because I forgot to share the screen. So, but yeah, here's the stupidity that is Candace Owens.
Exactly.
Hold on. Here we go.
First and foremost, stop selling us our own oppression. Stop taking away our self-confidence by telling us that we can't because of racism, because of slavery. I've never been a slave in this country. Stop telling us that we need to be obsessing over our past when we should be obsessing over our future and the potential that we have.
All them white people. This is who she's trying to oppress. All these white people. You saw that no one black was clapping in that conference. Wonder why. You was about to say something?
Because she tap dancing. That's why no black people is co-signing that fuckery, man.
Yep. That's exactly right. I'm like, seriously. And then I want to get into the situation what that happened at the what was it? The hearing with Michael Cohen. You saw that Meadows guy. I'm gonna play Phil the Advice Show's video real quick because he had it had a better conversation. I'm just gonna skip over a few parts. I hope you don't mind, but
do your thing, brother. Do your thing, man. This your show, man.
All right. So let me see. Oh, by the way, but first, I did see that video about the dog thing. Let's show that first, because I think I have it somewhere. Dang it!
All right, do your thing.
That's not it. Oh, and then earlier I talked about some people kneeling.
Okay.
All right. Some people were kneeling earlier. There was a kneel because they were protesting a Confederate rally. Yet the people went after the kneelers, but not the Confederate people. But then again, this is America.
Oh, exactly.
So earlier, Jimmy brought up the dog incident. So I'm gonna play the video real quick. I'm gonna show you all the video. So this is the woman calling the cop. So.
Oh, why are you calling the cops right now? Because I told you I wasn't leaving the park because my dog was humping your dog. I'm not verbally assaulting you. I told you I'm not leaving.
The Attleboro Dog Park.
That's inappropriate for the dog.
No, it's not.
I know.
The dogs humping each other, and she's calling the cops because my dog humped her dog. I've seen every single dog hump another dog here. She tells me to leave, and now she's calling the cops. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, they will. They'll.
Yo, I can't wait. Yo, this is crazy. Because you heard of Barbecue Becky? Because this is the newest one. Right here.
989.
Let me get her plate. Let's see. So everybody know who this woman is. We can look this woman up. 3ZN996.
Honestly.
I'm just you're not trying to help me. No, you're not trying to help me. I know the rules.
You're not.
The dogs. I'm obeying the rules. What are you talking about? I'm right here.
Allow your dog aggressively on top of another
dog. The dogs hump each other every day. And I took him off. I took him off. I know it's my opinion, but you don't call the cops over it. That's all I'm saying.
That's
You just don't call the cops.
Okay. Yeah. Here's what he should have done in that situation. He should have got into victim mode too. He should have got on that phone and said, 911, I got me a potential white supremacist on the telephone, and I might commit suicide because this white supremacist is trying to swat me. So you please get this. He should have went into victim mode in that shit. He should have did the same thing she doing. I would have went. He should have did a acting job up in this motherfucker. You got to do like Tariq Nasheed said. You got to do what they do. Either one or two things. Either knock her ass off and run off, which I wouldn't recommend that. But he should have went into victim mode and been like, and called the police on her. And he should have recorded. See, this is why I tell black people all the time, you need to record everything at all times. You know, even if nothing is happening, you need to always be in record mode, just in case. You got to do one or two things. You got to knock a motherfucker ass out, or you gotta go into victim mode, which he should have did. He should have got on that. He should have called 911 too. He should have got into us. He should have played victim. He should have told the operator, hey, I feel like I'm gonna get swatted. I feel like the police is gonna get me because of this woman right here. He should have immediately got into victim mode. Black people need to stop trying to negotiate with terrorists and start thinking more smarter. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. That's my take on that one.
Yep, I think so too. Yep, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, especially how dangerous this society is.
Yeah. I mean, this. I mean, he did the right thing by recording aftermath, but you need to record from the jump. You need to record everything from the jump. That way, this woman needs to be brought up on charges. There needs to be a law out here. And we need to institute a law to where these people go to jail for a long period of time for shit like this. Because this guy could have easily. I don't know.
Notice they're only doing the arresting on someone like Jussie Smollett, but not that woman. But anyway, I'm going to bring up the topic of the hearing. So there was a hearing involving Michael Cohen. He accused Donald Trump of being a racist.
Okay,
so this representative by the name of Mark Meadows decided to bring up this woman by the name of Leah Patton to say that he's not racist. She works with Trump and blah 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 and stuff like that. But a Pakistani congresswoman called out Meadows and Trump for doing that, trying to use a black person as a prompt to try to not accuse Trump of racism.
Yeah.
So, yep. So, I'm going to bring this up right now. I'm going to show this. I think this video might help too.
Just to make a note, Mr. Chairman, just because someone has a person of color, a black person working for them, does not mean they aren't racist. And it is insensitive that some would even say, it's the fact that someone would actually use a prop, a black woman, in this chamber, in this committee, is alone racist in itself. Donald Trump is setting.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that her words be taken down.
President, I reclaim my time.
Mr. Chairman,
setting a precedent.
Mr. Chairman,
the highest office can be.
Mr. Chairman, the rules are clear.
Cover up and hold on to business assets to break campaign finance laws and constitutional clauses. What we have here, Mr. Chairman, is criminal conduct in the pursuit of the highest public office by Mr. Cohen and individual one. I hope that the gravity of this situation hits everyone in this body and in Congress and across this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield the rest of my time.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that her words, when she's referring to an individual member of this body, be taken down and stricken from the record. I am sure she didn't intend to do this, but if anyone knows my record as it relates, it should be you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, I would like to
Hold on.
I want the words read back.
No.
We want to know exactly what she said about the colleague.
Excuse me. Would you like to rephrase that statement, Mr. Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can actually read it from here. Just to make a note, Mr. Chairman, that just because someone has a person of color, a black person working for them, does not mean they are racist. And it is insensitive that someone would even say racist, say it is racist in itself, and to use a black woman as a prop to prove it otherwise. And I can submit this for the record. If a colleague is thinking that that's what I'm saying, I'm just saying that's what I believe to have happened. And if, as a person of color in this committee, that's how I felt at that moment, and I wanted to express that. But I am not calling the gentleman, Mr. Meadows, a racist for doing so. I'm saying that in itself, it is a racist act.
Well, I hope not, Mr. Chairman, because I need to be clear on this particular. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Meadows, wait a minute.
I've defended you about false acts.
Mr. Meadows, I'm the chair.
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. I will clear this up. Now, Mr. Lee, I want to make sure I understand. You were not intending to call Mr. Meadows a racist, is that right?
No, Mr. Chairman, I do not call Mr. Meadows a racist. I am trying, as a person of color, Mr. Chairman, just to express myself and how I felt at that moment. And so, just for the record, that's what was my intention.
All right. Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Chairman, there's nothing more personal to me than my relationship. My nieces and nephews are people of color.
What that got to do with any goddamn thing?
You know that, Mr. Chairman. And to indicate that I asked someone who is a personal friend of the Trump family, who has worked for him, who knows this particular individual, that she's coming in to be a prop, it's racist to suggest that I asked her to come in here for that reason. Mr. President, the president's own person. She's a family member. She loves this family. She came in because she felt like the president of the United States was getting falsely accused. And Mr. Chairman, you and I have a personal relationship that's not based on color. And to even go down this direction is wrong, Mr. Chairman.
First of all, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for what you have stated. If there's anyone who is sensitive with regard to race, it's me. Son of former sharecroppers, they were basically slaves.
No one cares.
So I get it. I listened very carefully to Ms. Ali, and I think, and I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but I think she said that she was not calling you a racist. And I thought that we could clarify that. Because you, Mr. Meadows, you know, and of all the people on this committee, I've said it and gotten in trouble for it. Then you're one of my best friends. I know that shocks a lot of people.
And likewise, Mr. Chairman.
But you are. And I could see and feel your pain. I feel it. And so, and I don't think Ms. Ali intended to cause you that kind of pain and that kind of frustration. Did you have a statement, Ms. Ali? I'm going to yield to you.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleague, Mr. Meadows, that was not my intention, and I do apologize if that's what it sounded like, but I said someone in general. And as everybody knows in this chamber, I'm pretty direct, so if I wanted to say that, I would have, but that's not what I said. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to clarify. But again, I said someone. And again, that was not referring to you at all as a racist.
I thank the gentlewoman for her comments. I thank the chairman for working to clarify this. And I appreciate the chairman's intervening.
Now we're hearing that woman is trying to fire back at numerous Democrat lawmakers for accusing Meadows of using her as a prop.
That's crazy shit there, bro.
That's being a loyal coon. That's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is what she said. I know. Oh, okay. No, this is what Meadows began. I said. I'm trying to find what she said. You know what? She's saying that. So to me, that's what makes people uncomfortable. Patton continued. He doesn't care what people think, and he will tell it like it is. And then she's like added that she's not a racist, not low informed, not brainwashed, and not part of a cult. I'm like, you know what? You're just cooning. That's exactly what you're doing. You're just cooning. Do you have anything to say about that, Jimmy?
1000% agree. She's a coon, so it is what it is when it comes to her.
Yeah. Let me see the
run by a black person that wasn't a shithole.
All right. I'm going to
Mr. Trump is a racist. The country has seen Mr. Trump court white supremacists and bigots. You have heard him call poorer countries shitholes.
This is all what this was about.
In private, he is even worse. He once asked me if I could name a country run by a black person that wasn't a shithole. This was when Barack Obama, president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. And he told me that black people would never vote for him because they were too stupid. And yet, I continued to work for him.
Yeah. I bet you he's regretting working for him now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Now speaking of racist and going up to a black neighborhood and stuff, did you hear about what happened in Maryland?
No, I didn't hear about that. Enlighten me, sir.
All right, but I'm trying to find. All right, right here. So I'm about to share my screen, maybe one last time or whatever. Basically, I'm going to show you this individual, a Maryland lawmaker by the name of Mary Ann LaCenta. And guess what? She too is a Democrat. See, notice that a lot of these racist issues that's happening to mostly Democrat lawmakers, Democrat politicians. I have not, throughout this entire live stream, with the exception of Donald Trump and that Meadows moron, I have not said about the racial issues and issues with black people involving politicians.
Yeah.
Majority of them have been Democrats. We have the Kamala Harris and Cory Booker situation. We have this woman. We have Ralph Nader. They're all Democrats. And black people are very angry at these people for what they have done that's very racial or is not willing to help the black community. Bernie Sanders is actually an independent, but he leans towards the Democrats. Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, saying that Native Americans should be part of the reparations talk. They already got something. Now let's go back to Maryland. She's apologizing, a fake apology, for calling majority black county the N district, N district. And this is her right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yep. Let's see here. A white lawmaker in Maryland has apologized for using a racial slur to describe a majority Black County in suburban Washington D.C. That's actually in Maryland. And you've heard of Prince George County, right?
Say what? Prince George County. Yeah, I've been out there. I'm sorry. I did. I've been out to Prince George County.
Yeah, you know that Prince George County is a predominantly black neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a predominantly black neighborhood, and they have the wealthiest black people based on median income in the country. Yes, I know about Prince George County.
So this is basically a black neighborhood that might be able to survive somewhat of gentrification.
Yeah, well, Prince George County, that's going to be hard to gentrify them. The only majority white county in that area is Upper Marlboro, and that's starting to get blackened up a little bit, which is where Marlboro actually started their factory at. But that's becoming more and more black. You know what I'm saying? Because DC, of course, have the two of the wealthiest neighborhoods, period. You know what I'm saying? Montgomery County, I think it is. But that Prince George County is the wealthiest black county in the country.
All right, okay. Yeah, but you had this racist right here. She probably was thinking that if she's going to a black county, she probably was thinking hood, Compton, gun shooting, and whatsoever. Turns out that's not the case, and now she's apologizing for it.
Exactly, yeah, and they've gotten they've tried to reprimand PG County, as the DC people call it. DC County has thrived so well to where they was reprimanding the school districts out there because these kids were academically flourishing on tip-top level. You heard about that a few years ago?
Oh yeah, I heard about what Larry Hogan was trying to do.
Yeah,
that's why I was very disappointed that he still won his government election last year. I mean, I may not care about Ben Jealous, but I'd rather had Ben Jealous there than Larry Hogan. And I'm like, Maryland is a mostly popular is a predominantly black state, and yet you get Larry Hogan as your governor. That's a problem. But then again, there's a lot of reasons why black people were not voting is because they're not happy with the Democrats, which is also understandable.
Yeah, and you know, the thing with us is we need to take our citywide and depending on what state you're in, gubernatorial election serious as well. But as far as presidential and national elections, I suggest we sit out until we find somebody that's going to legitimately give us reparations. At this point, either reparations or nothing. It's either put in laws that's going to protect us or nothing. But we definitely need compensation before conversation. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Did you know that I know this is off the Mary Ann, that I talked about a topic earlier about how some Minnesota lawmakers are trying to help keep black families intact because of the unfairness of the child protection services known to target black families and separate their kids and then put them in white families. Now there's legislation trying to stop all that so that black families can stay intact, or that more black kids will be sent to more safer black families than just go straight to some non-black family, in particularly a white family.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, they want to do laws to help keep kids of illegal immigrants from being separate. So yeah, now it's time for us to get some of those same laws.
Yeah. We need the black family to stay together as much as possible. But you know, on another subject, I feel like those reparations, we can get reparations if we keep on pushing it strong enough and doing our thing. So yeah, the black family should stay together and stuff like that as much as possible. And also, some things we can also do as a community. If we got to, some of us need to wait before we start having children as well. You know, that makes sure our finances are in order as well. You know, some of the things we can do. That's some of the things we can do and stuff like that. And get our money up. You know what I'm saying, and help other people in the community out as much as possible as well. You know what I'm saying? But I'm proud of us. We're pushing the reparations talk. I'm proud that there's a few things in place for certain Black people to be helped out in terms of keeping their family together. I'm very proud to hear stuff like that.
All right. And now I got one unfortunate more story. U.S. military. Here I want to show you something real quick. And this is another reason why we need to be called a protective class citizenship, because you have incidents like these two. You had 2 Marines from San Diego in a military base do this.
Good morning, sir. Hello. Good morning.
They should get
and now there's a campaign to try to basically kick them out. Critics want Marines booted from military after Snapchat blackface video emerges, and that was the video that I just showed.
Yeah, they should be dishonored. They should get a dishonorable discharge for that.
Yeah,
there's no room.
Remember, I bet you these are the racists that end up going to these white nationalist groups and train them how to use guns to prepare for the Second Civil War. You were saying something, Jimmy?
Yeah, those are the type of people that need to be put out the military. And if the Marines don't do nothing to those guys, if they don't get a dishonorable discharge, fuck them. And I'm just going to say it. You know what I'm saying? The military does nothing for Black people any fucking way. You know,
that's why a lot of people are starting not in Black community are starting not to join the military. Yet now the military is trying to fight back against that by deciding whether or not to bring back the draft so they can force Black people back into the military.
Well, they need to make. Well, here's the thing with the United States: they need to make up their mind. Either you're gonna protect Black people or you're not. Either we gonna be a protected class or just pretty much make us sovereign citizens at this point, and that way we can protect our own shit. But we need compensation for all the bullshit laws that's in place that have oppressed us over these years. We need to cut. They need to cut the bullshit. Make up your mind. Either give us reparations. You know what I'm saying? If you give us reparations, okay, then you know maybe we should consider the draft. But until then, don't tell us to do a fucking thing if you're not going to protect us. All these officers out here, you know, gunning down, you know, the Akai Gurleys, the Trayvon Martins, excuse me, Oscar Grant's out here. I mean, you can't have it both ways. White supremacy is nothing more than an indecisive, and I'm gonna say this for lack of a better term. White supremacy is nothing more than an indecisive bitch who can't make up its mind, and that's what white supremacists are. You can't have it both ways, white supremacists.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have to say for now. I think that's all the topics I'm able to get with for now. So I know my live streams are not too long, but we're going to have to wrap this up. So do you have any final thoughts?
Man, I appreciate the chat. The chat is very productive today. Shout out to Daryl LaField. If I hope I'm not killing your name, but shout out to that brother right there, man. And I surely appreciate it, man. But anyway, man, guys, go subscribe to my channel, the Jimmy J Smooth Network. I don't just talk about social topics. I talk about sports and other issues out there in the world, man, and as well. And if you ain't already subscribed to my brother JDawg, subscribe to that brother ASAP. Let's get this brother at 1,000. He's closer to 1,000 than I am. So get him to 1,000 as much as possible so he can fulfill those super chats and get that big money. So we can have him just come up here every day and do live streams like this, because this brother is really on point and stuff like that. So, you know, subscribe to his page, subscribe to my page, the Jimmy J Smooth Network. And you know what I'm saying? Keep supporting my brother JDawg. And anytime you need me, man, if I'm not hellaciously tired from work, I'll jump on this live stream with you, whether it's 30 minutes or 3 hours or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate you having me again. And man, make sure y'all subscribe to that brother and smash that like button as y'all go out up in this junk. Smash the like button.
And like he said, make sure you subscribe to Jimmy J Smooth. I just left the link to his channel right here. Go click on it right now. Click on it right now. And if you're not subscribed to him, click on it right now. Click on this link right now that I just showed. And you know, check out his channel. If you feel like it's a channel to subscribe to, subscribe. And yeah, he makes good content stuff. Let's help him get to 1,000 subscribers as well. Let's help him so that his channel can grow as well. All our channels need to grow. Subscribe to each other if you have to. Educated Smoker, I see you are here. I wish you were able to come on the panel, but I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to help you get some more subscribers as well. So shout out to her. I just learned about her a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago. This other link I'm about to put in is to her channel. So yeah, so check out these two channels, Jimmy J Smooth and the Educated Smoker. So yeah, check out these two channels, and make sure y'all subscribe to mine as well if you're not a subscriber. And yeah, but that's all I have to say for now. Check out these channels. Make sure you're supporting these channels. Thank you for your time, and I hope to catch y'all in another live stream or video. So peace, everyone.
Peace.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to Educated Smoker too.
All right.